today as well. Because again, we could have easily been, pushing and building a ton of rallying information and understanding about season two here, but this really isn't our goal. What's actually really strange is that our intention is to have less people mint season two than season one. And the real reason for that is that this is a true measurement of loyalty for those who find value in our ecosystem. And that's what we're seeking here, right? This relationship between Soul, Genesis Soul, and Season 2 Soul is very critical to our design. And in the critical design that we're creating here, it's recognizing two big things. One is that there's already a measurement of loyalty for those who believed and got and grabbed Genesis Soul. And then secondly, there's another element of loyalty for those of you who've been participating in capturing relics in the hopes to be able to unlock the next soul. And this is really where we think we're going to find the most core loyal users possible. That's what we've actually curated this entire product experience for. And what's crazy is that we're going to bet on you guys. For those of you who will have Soul after this product experience and after this mint window, whether it be just Genesis Soul, whether it be just Season 2, or whether it be both, we're betting on you guys collectively, and that's it. One of the very important things and core changes you're going to see is that we are absolutely going to start locking down this Discord as well. It's very different. What's very interesting here on this front is that at the end of Season 2 mint window closing, we will close this Discord. The only way that you'll be able to communicate and chat in this Discord is if you own a soul. That's it. And the real reason for that is that you guys are going to be the anchor community. And let me just talk to you about that a little bit of why that's important. So what's really nice in our position here at the moment right now is that we've created a really powerful community that has incredible engagement. If you want to see our engagement numbers, look at the fact that we could do any live audio event on Twitter, and we're going to be able to create 400 to 500 unique people coming. But you know what's even more amazing about that next step below is that not only are we getting 400 plus people, but what's even more amazing is that the vast majority of our audience is actually there for the entire event. What we see is that there's these metrics that showcase 70 to 80% of listeners listen for at least 80 to 90% of the content. That's crazy, right? So what we have is we also have deeply sticky users as well. And because of that, we actually already have too many users. We actually have too many community members. Our goal isn't about trying to get 50,000 or 100,000 people in this Discord. We're really just trying to find 3,000 to 5,000 loyal individuals. And with those 3,000 to 5,000 individuals, we're going to aim to take you guys to the promised land with us. We really want to build explicitly for you guys and scale with us. And this is kind of why it becomes really interesting is that we've now created these different litmus tests of loyalty. We've created this first layer of Genesis Soul, only was open for 3 days. And we're going to be a little bit nicer on this Soul Season 2, where essentially we'll have a 2 to 3 week window to claim as well. So with that, the biggest alpha and insights you'll want to understand here is that if you own a Soul Season 1 and you have at least 10 to 20 relics and you plan to collect more relics in the future, it is a no-brainer to also get Soul Season 2, right? And make sure you're minting that to the same wallet, right? Because we're going to use a delegate wallet function feature, right? Which is really interesting in this design. And because of that, make sure you're delegating it to that same wallet as well. Correct, you're limited to 1 mint per wallet. There are many people here who have done 2 mints. Sometimes people will send it to a cold wallet, and sometimes they'll send another one to a hot wallet. It's up to you, but you only need 1 of a corresponding soul for its core utility here because, again, this is an asset that is bound. And again, we want to make sure we use this terminology right. We don't use the term soul bound because we don't use the soul bound framework. What we call it is just bound. And what we mean by that is that this asset is not tradable when you mint it. It serves as your membership token in this world. And in this kind of design, you're going to see a ton of value being created for all of you that really do believe in this ecosystem. And the best part is that you've had 6 months of interacting with this ecosystem as well. So you also have proof on what we can do, right? And because of that, what you're going to end up seeing here very simply and very powerfully is this recognition that this system will continue to evolve and deliver you more value in unexpected ways. But what you can see is that we're incredibly committed to knowledge. We're incredibly committed to access. And again, we're incredibly committed to these experiences. And even today, even this week, do you guys realize it's our Mint Week? Most people on Mint Week don't even communicate. They might just do like one mega space, right? That's what these guys are usually doing on Mint Week. But you know what we're doing? Well, you know what? We started out with, multiple ordinal events. We started out with Ronin activation yesterday. We started on Reaper's activation yesterday. We did another ordinal event earlier today. We have more events following after this. And this is kind of why I get really excited about this ecosystem here as well, and where we're trying to go and what we're trying to build. So yeah, let me just share some core information really quickly so you guys don't get, into any issues. The first thing you want to understand is that if we're ever minting anything, we're only minting it on one site. And that is always the Tribe official website, which is www.tribe.inc. I just dropped it here in chat, right? This is where everything mints. This is an important thing. We don't have any other websites anymore. We actually took them all down intentionally. The mint is not live, but the website is up. The contract is ready. Essentially, all I need to do is unlock the contract, right? And effectively do that. At the moment right now, expect a delay. We are ready to go. We just don't want to throw this into this current gas, right? And this is really just something we want to be conscious of here at the moment right now. But there's two good things. Gas is coming back down slowly. It's still very slow, but it is around 45 Gwei at the moment right now. Again, we'd like to see this down under 30 Gwei. Once it gets down 30 Gwei, that's probably when we'll start opening this up. Again, I know some of you had this time to be able to be available here, but this is the other beauty about our design. Soul Season 2 is open for multiple weeks. So yes, there is a small advantage of minting early because there is a rarity variable, but I'd rather turn this into a positive scenario where you're not burning ETH, especially considering we're only asking you to pay 0.01 ETH. It would pretty much suck if your gas cost more than the mint. That's not valuable for you, nor is it valuable for us. We don't need to play any small gas wars. I know this is subtle, like, oh, Nick, it's only, $20 more, right? Still, that matters. That means I just increased your cost basis to access this by 100%. I don't want to do that, right? And I think this is kind of the important thing here in this design. But let's kind of walk through the utility here really quickly. And I'm just going to really walk you through this thread. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm also going to share the link for this thread that is relevant for all of us here as well. So we put out a really, I think, compelling thread that shares a lot about our vision and who we are. And most of you guys already know about a lot of these details because you've been active here with us, and we massively appreciate it as well. With that, let me just grab this one and share this thread. Awesome. I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and you guys could follow along. And I'm actually going to give you some real amazing insights here, right, on this design, on the structure. And you're right, 13th, it's not a huge delta here on the Gwei price. It's more about understanding the baseline of Gwei. Because if it's at 45, it could still spike up to 70. So we just want to be conscious of it. We're very close to it. I expect us to open up the mint window within the next hour, right? That's what we're doing. Let's just keep an eye out on it because, again, this is still a core part of who we are and what our thesis is. And the best part, as we wait, we're going to do a fun few things. We're going to do some raffles. We're going to do some auction parties. And again, if you need to run, no worries. The window will stay open, right? And you'll always have the ability to get access to it. I know there's certain trade-offs. We're not going to make everyone happy here. But again, the reason why this is a important decision for us is that we always want to protect our users and our community. And in this case, we want to side at like smaller, lower gas, right? If we can, I think it's just a smarter play for our community as well. But let's kind of go through this quick thread. I say quick, it's actually quite long, but I'll move through it relatively quickly because I want you to understand some key details. And what you guys are going to hear is some interesting alpha on the design. And I'm going to share more with you than I've ever shared before on how these souls are being designed. And that's actually why I switched this event to Discord instead of Twitter, because I realized I don't need to push this information out. I don't want other speculative people to come into this asset right now. I really just want to give you guys very direct insights for those who are participating already in this Discord. So let's kind of walk through this thread just for a little bit of content here as you kind of look through this. So again, we just posted this out. Awesome to see the engagement already on this. Again, just something that we're pushing here. One of the things you're going to hear a lot from us is this concept of find your vibe. This is something that we think is really important because Tribe operates quite differently than any other organization. Our goal is not just to be like, hey, we're going to make sure that you mint only our stuff, ignore everything else, right? Our goal is not about this idea of, hey, we're going to build the #1 collection and it's going to dominate the world. What we actually want to do is we want to build a portfolio of access and projects and builders together and allow each of you to find the community, your tribe, and your vibe accordingly. I'm just as happy if you're as bullish on Oath, and I'm just as happy if you're even more bullish on Jungle or Weebox. It doesn't matter as long as we're your distribution point and we're that jumping off point. Because again, in this kind of design, you'll be able to come into this world and really be a part of this every step of the way. And that's what I care about. I want your journey as a Web3 citizen to consistently be better, which I think is really, really exciting and really, really valuable as well. So let's kind of continue down this trend and just hear a little bit of the details of what we've accomplished in season 1, which I think is relatively very special compared to the rest of this space. So as you guys already know, we have over 50,000 unique users in our Discord, and we have actually over 15,000 weekly active, which is really amazing. But there's this constant problem we're overall seeing in this market. And it's this problem where when launching new IP, every project is prioritizing a financial or tradable asset right from the start, right? The sale or claim of an NFT introduces an immediate cost basis and real value conflict, right? And this forces the user to become a trader rather than a consumer. I mean, you could already feel this. If you're watching Ether right now, right? What's kind of crazy is that no one's really talking about the art anymore. They're all talking about the mint decision, the value of the asset, the drop in the value of the asset, maybe some sales, so some rares. That's about it. And because of that, what you end up running into this problem is that the community starts becoming trapped. The community either now needs to defend or the community now needs to abandon. And because of that, right, you're going to run into all these other kind of core problems. And it sucks because now the appreciation of the art is potentially lost, right? Regardless of whether or not you love the art, the sad thing is that that's not what the conversation is. The utility is not really worth it as well. And I think this is kind of why we're trying to tap into this idea of, okay, if we ever launch something or if we build a community, how do we remove some of those charged, financialized elements right from the start? It doesn't mean that we can't have them. It doesn't mean that we can't scale to them. But it's understanding it's one of the core problems right now in a trader mindset here today. So with that, right, what we have to recognize is that problem's even more exacerbated, right, when we recognize that, hey, the primary interfaces of OpenSea, Magic Eden, Blur, whenever you go to these, they're all focused on asset value, right? We're seeing, price change on 1 day, 7 day. We're looking at floor price. We're looking at volume. None of these are really even showing anything of art outside of their base icons. None of these are talking about utility. None of these are talking about storytelling. What you end up realizing is that our entire user experience and funnel in Web3 is a trader lens, right? And this incentivizes short-term relationships. And that then optimizes for return over community design. And I think when you start having this structure, then we all ask ourselves is like, why don't any of us hold on to stuff? What we end up recognizing here, right, in a very simple manner is that this market has designed us not to actually be attached to anything because you should always be willing to sell it, right? That's kind of what the prevailing notion is. And when you're trying to build an enduring IP, that's kind of a hard thing, right? And you're right. If you do hold on to stuff, a lot of you do get punished. And because of all these elements, right, it's created this entire different framework that I think actually is killing the Web3 and NFT market here as well too. And this is kind of why like I'm in this very unique position to understand and ask, how can we do something different? And that's essentially exactly what Tribe is trying to do is we want to find a possible solution. So in this case, Tribe believes we must develop the community and IP in a meaningful way before introducing a tradable asset, right? So almost every community starts with a tradable asset. We want to remove that. We want to actually figure out a way to build a connected community and further the IP value before that tradable asset comes. And the inherent assumption and or thesis here is that if you do that and actually build a great community and build IP of value, right? What's really cool here is that this should probably lead to more inherent value and connection to the holders as well when that asset is introduced, right? With tradable value too. So it's a totally different structure, right? But it's not an easy task. And this is this big thing that we're starting to recognize is that this was the challenge we essentially took on literally, December 1st, right? Or December 4th was the actual date. This is when we just had FTX implosion. I realized that the projects that we were going to launch at that time needed to be totally scrapped, right? Lost Realms and Fury at those times were both based off ERC20 economies. And as soon as the implosion of FTX happened, all ERC20 economies died. So just in a fell swoop, our entire core economic model of our project was evaporated. So we had to make the hard choice, right? Do we still soldier on and still launch it and go into that deep, deep bear? Or do we make the hard thing and realize that, hey, this is a product experience that's going to take longer to launch and needs to be redesigned and needs to wait for the maturity of the market? But if we do that, we need to make sure, can we retain users, right? Because this is always the hardest part whenever you delay, right? Is can you maintain the attention? Can you continue to deliver the deep alignment, right? And can you then deliver multiple layers of value creation so that the community sticks around and more importantly, bonds? It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do even when you have a mint already planned. It's even harder when that mint is still further out. But we realized that there were some really cool ways to drive value here that most communities weren't doing. And we really believed it fell into this kind of 3 pillars of Tribe, right? So in this case, it really fell into this concept of we wanted to invest in 3 core areas that we thought. We felt if we got these things right, we could deliver way more value to each and every one of you. So in this case, it was really about, this concept of knowledge, access, and experiences as well. We felt if we did these 3 things incredibly well and were best in class, we could actually retain an audience. And we started doing that essentially right from December 4th. That's when we started to do live events. We started to invest in partnerships with the Something is Minting series to be able to get allocation and access. And then we started to scale even further the experiences. We were already doing experiences incredibly well, in my opinion. Like the early Lost Realm Discord was incredibly fun. You probably got a little bit of those vibes with where Reapers is now going as well. And you probably are going to see where Ronin is going in that same direction. But the other 2 things we had to be way better at. So what did we do? We went all in. So when going all in, the crazy thing in the last 6+ months, what have we actually achieved? We've achieved some crazy numbers. We've now created over 500 hours of live audio across both Twitter and Discord. We crossed last month over 10 million minutes listened, which is also just an insane number. We've hosted tons of projects, top projects from Something is Minting to the Founder series to Ordinal Architects. And we've also done deep writing, blogs, and threads, and we tried all of that stuff out to find that right base. And to be very blunt, I think we're one of the best knowledge-based ecosystems that are trying to give you real holistic knowledge on NFT projects in the space. We don't view ourselves as alpha. We don't really ever want to view ourselves in that manner. What we just want to do is continue to provide you awareness, knowledge, and frameworks on that front to be able to make your own decisions. And this means that it should hopefully increase your opportunities, but it should also maybe increase the ways to preserve your ETH as well to avoid certain bad opportunities as well. If you can do that correctly, you can have a huge opportunity in the long term of our design to kind of create what that next layer of value is access. And here's the crazy thing. In the last 6 months, we became literally the number one access ecosystem when it comes to Ethereum. We are getting the largest allocations to pretty much every project out there that is of high value. And when we're saying large allocations, I mean, we're getting allocations between usually 100 to 500 per project, depending on their supply size. And in doing so, we've been able to give you guys a huge distribution of upside. And it's not just being able to give you guys allocations from the Something is Minting series, but we're also able to give you guys access to our own first party projects as you all want Oath. And then, of course, right, you have Reapers, Fury, all the other pieces that will be coming in a little bit later. And then separately, we also have the publishing partnerships as well, which are incredibly powerful too. And we'll talk about that. So what we did is that we thought if we got these three things right, we could do something special. And here's the crazy thing. You can now see the proof. You can see the fact that we're having 300 to 400 to 500 consistent people in the middle of a bear is insane. And just a couple months ago, before we took this leg down, we were getting between 700 to 800 and 900 people as well. And I think that's where it gets really important and really valuable here as well. And this is kind of where the design gets really exciting. So real quick, we'll continue in this, but I just want to be conscious for those of you who are here. We're not that far away from the Gwei at the moment right now. So there's probably a good chance we're going to be minting here in the next 30 minutes. Just know that it's not going to happen here in the next 3 minutes. So just take some time. If you can do that, right, you'll be fine. We'll let you guys know when this is. Let me just hit up my dev real quick to make sure that all things are good here as well. Give me just a second. And then we'll continue on this as well. And then we'll evaluate where Gwei is right after this thread. So let's kind of continue down this conversation. So as you can see, in the last 6 months, we became best in class in knowledge, in our opinion. And again, that's something that you can justify on your own. I think without a doubt, we became best in class in access. I don't think anyone else is getting better access than us. And then separately, right, at the same time, you want to understand, we continue to give you better experiences. And you felt a lot of that already this week. And again, you probably have the nostalgia of some of our previous experiences, like our comic book events, which are just amazing. There's Reapers voting event, which I think is going to be really exciting. The fact that, you could be a part of, the Ronin storytelling as well. Lot of stuff coming, which I think is going to be really exciting too. So with that, we wanted to understand then, okay, how do we continue to offer value in our design when we're looking at this in the first season? And, like we said, all these results have been incredibly stellar. We've delivered over 10,000 whitelist allocations that have generated over 1,500 net ETH value. And again, a lot of these, like it was actually around 71, 72% last time we checked, were actually free mints, which is also really great, right? It meant that we were also ensuring that we are, eroding and removing all of your cost basis, right, as much as we can, because it meant that we were protecting you even more. Free mint, small supply, active founder. That's what we went after. And again, it proved to be really healthy in the results. And because of all of that and our immersive experiences, there's a reason why everyone sees our cloaks everywhere now, right? We integrated that into our immersive experience. And because of that, everyone knows that, or knows about or has seen these cloaks everywhere, right? We haven't even launched a PFP, but we might be one of the most recognizable PFPs that have never minted, right? Which is kind of nuts in that design, right? And because of that, right, we have this huge upside in the strategy and the vision of where we're going. And more importantly, right, you're going to have this huge opportunity to recognize that we're going to have a really strong awareness in the market when we go out, whatever we do. And this is kind of the beauty and the design of where we're going. So let's kind of keep going here in this kind of structure to better understand where we're going, and then we'll talk about the benefits here as well. So as we kind of continue down this line, right, you could also see like, hey, dude, like just look at this funnel. It's pretty crazy. This is just our allocation of pipelines, and this is like only 50% of our partners. There's still another 50% to be added, but to be very honest, most of them are also like average or to low quality. And again, not all of these are wins. We're really just trying to be honest. We still got some Walt's Vault on this. We got some Frankie's Dinner on this, right? We got some Star Symphony on it. On the flip side, right, then there are also major wins, right? Dimensionals, massive win for us. Grapes, really solid win. Ghost Boy was a really great win in the early days for us as well. DeBlock was a great win as well. This is kind of where we love. Puma even gave us a win. Momoguru gave us actually a pretty good win as well too, as long as you got out within the first like 48 hours. We got free airdrops from guys like Pirate Nation, Galaxy Fight Club, RKL, Fates, Infinigods. I mean, it wasn't just that we were getting allocation of mints, we were also getting allocation of airdrops, which is really powerful as well. So again, you could just see this pipeline here in this design and where we're going. And I think this is where it gets, again, really powerful on what the power of Tribe is. And what's crazy is what most people don't know, but of course all of you know, is that we've launched essentially our own off-chain currency, Relic, right, that fuels this entire ecosystem. You're able to essentially unlock, right, a reward platform that is amplifying our engagement. Every time you're coming to these events, and we'll give you some relics here today as well, you're going to realize very quickly that, you know, this is going to turn into real value, and you're going to be able to hold on to these over time. It's just not random raffles. It's a full currency with a full marketplace that you could deploy whenever you want. Some of you will hoard your relics until the next bull, right? Some of you will spend your relics now because you want to optimize for either a specific project or near-term liquidity. We don't care what you choose as long as it hits your own personal goals. And that's kind of the beauty of it. And you know what's crazy is that there's been over 280,000 relics claimed, right? That's just like insane, right? 280,000 relics, right? Which is just insane of a number. And that's just for season 1 and season 2. When you include season 3, we'll probably end up being, I think we're already over 300,000. But very simply put, we'll cross the 500,000 mark by the end of the year, which is just insane as well. So again, what you're recognizing here is that we're continuing to scaling this product experience and this product opportunity at kind of every level. And these relics are only going to get way, way bigger here on this kind of design. And because of this, you're going to see more value being created, more value being unlocked, more value continuing to scale with each and every one of you as well too. So, you know, with that, what we're going to do here is that we're going to show you more of this world. And just as a heads up, right, we're going to ensure, right, that we're going to unlock quite a few things in our design, in our market, in our world. And because of that, what's really positive here in all of this design is that it's going to continue to compound. And we'll talk about that here too. Give me just a moment here as well. And let me just quickly check in on Gwei. And then let me also make a quick announcement here. I'll actually just show you guys the Gwei tracker here today. And just see where we're at. So we're around 40 Gwei. Let's do this. Let's unlock the mint here in the next like 15 minutes. So let me do this. Give me about 5 minutes to kind of go through this. And then I'll hop off this. Give me 5 or 10 minutes just to work with our dev. And then we'll come back online with everything set up and going online all at the same time. I just want to make sure all the pieces are there and we're navigating it correctly. Let me just ping him. Great. And we'll get this going here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, great. Let's go back to this and continue on this conversation here as well. Again, we'll share you all the links, guys. I promise you, I'll make sure all these details are coming in here. Again, if you guys just click Tribe Announcements, it's all there, right? In Tribe Announcements, if you go to that channel, the link is there. The information on the mint is there. The utility is there. We'll talk through it as well. Just bear with us, right? Be able to understand this information and know what you're getting into in your mint here as well, which I think is really important. I think really as we kind of continue in this strategy, what you'll realize here is that our goal is to continue to give you more and more value. And this is the other thing that people don't realize is that we're not stopping with just these tools and these features. We're still building the IP out. This is what most people don't realize is that we have multiple IPs that are moving forward that are already public in terms of Lost Realms, Reapers, Ronin, and Fury, right? We already have a Genesis asset on ETH. We already have 7,500 of you guys holding, 7,300 of you guys holding Soul Season 1. And then also, as we mentioned, we've already added 10 diamonds have moved over to BTC. So they're already on ordinals and fully inscribed. And we'll actually be burning 10 diamonds next week from our private treasury, which is great. It means that we'll drop the supply on ETH and we'll introduce a new slight supply on BTC, and they'll have their own little value there. And then beyond that, what's crazy? It's not that we just have these 4 brands done. What you guys also know is there's multiple layers done. Lost Realms King's Oath already has 3 full collections done. Reapers already has 85% done on 3 different collections. The last 15% is going to be dependent on you guys with the Reapers vote. Fury is already working on PFPs and already has all the cars done, all the 3D cars ready to go, already with a alpha playable game. Internally as well, running on browser. And Ronin already has a full collection that's going to be minting the end of this month as well too, all on ordinals. And because of that, we have then all these other secondary IP assets right behind that. And this is really where these worlds can expand, including comic book. And what's crazy is that we're moving faster than most companies that have, 7 or 8 figure budgets, right? Which is just crazy. And because of that, right, we're in this very positive position here in this design to be able to scale and be able to give you guys a significant amount of access to what we're doing. So because of that, we're in a very healthy position to be ready for launches. What are we doing? We have launches ready. We could literally hit the button launch when we feel the market is healthy. That is a perfect position to be in. And this is where Tribe is going to get really solid because we haven't stopped, right? Even though we may have delayed the initial mint, we still have had a 6-man pixel art team working nonstop. We've had a 3-man 3D art team working nonstop. We have core engineers working nonstop. We have community managers and community leads like Mirror working nonstop. We're working just as hard, right, on this front, more than almost any other project that's minting out. And that's something we take a lot of pride in, and we're going to continue. If this is how hard we're working prior to mint, imagine how hard we're going to work post mint, right? This is a pace, and guess what? This is not something that's just a one-off thing. You have 6 months of history looking at everything we're doing, and we continue to deliver on that front, which I think is really important in our design. So as we kind of go through this, what you also realize is that, we also have partnerships. This is what a lot of people who've come in more recently don't realize is that we've also partnered with so many of these collections, and we made generative interoperable assets with all of these partners as well. Guys like Neo Tokyo, CyberKongs, Anonymized, Gods, Pixelval. We use CCO on Moonbirds. We use CCO with Azuki. We got Gojira, Huxley. Shout out to our Ether Orc boys who are resting in peace, but still going to be alive in our game. Rumblekongs, Kaiju, Forgotten Runes. These are assets all ready to go, which is really amazing in our world and great to have these types of partnerships as well. Again, just another little bit of feather in our cap here to be able to continue to scale. Plus, on top of all of that, what's crazy? What we did in the last 6 months is we decided to also become a publisher, right? We started to publish high quality projects in our ecosystem more than anyone else. And because of that, right, we're this huge, huge position here at the moment right now to be able to bring some of the best projects. And these are mainly venture-backed guys that we're bringing in, right? All 3 of these projects raised either angel capital or venture capital at this point. Dimensionals raised 15 million. Jungle raised 6 million. And because of that, we've been able to do these really positive experiences. And what you see is that we're always going to be publishing at least 1 partner per kind of season, if not multiple ones as well. And this is kind of why we're trying to scale and build up a lot stronger and a lot better, because we have an unfair advantage. We have first party content, We have this third-party publisher content, and then we have this kind of soft partnership content via our Something is Minting series. It means that we have nonstop allocation. This is as good as it gets, which I think is really, really amazing here as well. So this is kind of where it gets amazing and how we're building our community and where we're trying to go. We have so many spouts of value creation that we funnel right back to you, right? I know you guys are super excited about Oath, but you know how excited you guys are about Weebox, how excited you guys are about Jungle. I mean, those things are only going like 10 or 15% less than Oath, right? Weebox going like 30% less. That's amazing here. And guess what? We have the largest allocation of both of them. You saw what we did with Dimensionals. I mean, you guys realize we were played a critical role sustaining Dimensionals for that first 100 days for Mint at 1.5 ETH. And it peaked at over 3.3 ETH at the initial mint day. Nuts. And guess what? We had 30% of the allocation. To be honest, we had more than 30% of the allocation because if you actually look at the effective supply minus the 200, we're looking at what? What's 3 divided by 8? Let's do some math together here. 3 divided by 8. What's this? 38%? Yeah, okay. 37.5% of the supply. You guys know how ridiculous that is? Right? We got that just for our community, and we gave a ton of that allocation back. If you like those numbers, guess what? Jungle's going to be just as strong. Keensight's just going to be just as strong. This is kind of why we have an unfair advantage most other people. Everyone got stuck in just being a singular IP play. We ended up becoming a collective play. This is where we started to level up relatively quickly and where we essentially unlocked huge amounts of value in our ecosystem as well. Don't worry, guys. We're about to mint. The GUI is there. Just let's walk through this. We'll take a little break. We'll set it up. The great thing is it'll take me 5 minutes to activate the mint. Just be patient. We're good. I got this. We are only waiting 15 minutes for GUI. This is great. I want to teach you guys patience. I want you guys to be okay. I know some of you may have stuff to do in your lives. That's also why we make it a 2 weeks open, but just be patient. And I will give you fair time, fair awareness. Just listen. You have an advantage being here right now, and we're going to be good here as well, too. So let's keep going down this. Only a couple more slides here as we kind of go through this as well. Because in the end, what you realize is that, hey, we also have an amazing Genesis collection, like all hail diamonds, trust in our fucking diamond community, right? The other insane thing is, do you realize our Genesis asset has never been under mint? Every minter has gotten profit. Even a year later, right, 11 months later, we're still holding a 4 ETH floor in the bottom of a bear. And to be very honest, if we just deploy 10 or 12 ETH, it's very easy to go to a 7 or 8 ETH floor. It's incredibly thin. And we're doing this without staking. It's a purely organic play, and because it's trust in our diamond holders. Then we also have 7,500 unique wallets that have already got a Genesis Season 1 as well, too, which is amazing, right? And the other crazy thing about this stat is look how many diamond users are always in these chats, right? Our diamond users are fucking active. They engage. These are users who have no issue spending a huge amount of access to our world. And what you end up recognizing very quickly here is that our diamond users consistently recognize that there's value in giving back to this community by being active. And because of that, it puts us in a very unique advantage compared to almost any other Genesis asset. For a lot of our diamond users, this is one of their core homes. For a lot of our Genesis Soul holders, right, this is one of their core homes. We want to continue to do that. We hope that everyone who has a soul views us as one of their top 3 homes in this space. If we do that, I think we're going to be unstoppable. And we're really close to being able to achieve that as well. Man, my voice is almost out, which is great. It doesn't mean that you guys don't have to listen to me too much longer. And again, even in this bear, we keep like developing our IP. Again, I think this PFP still looks dope as fuck. And this is like the first PFP of the kings or the rare kings. This is one of the lineage kings. And this thing is fire. I love this king. I hope this actually is one of the generative outputs because I want this one. It's that good to me. But what's also crazy about this is that, we created 3 full PFP collections. We introduced animated scenes, hired voice actors, designed alpha game, and first run of toys. Like, we also hired a AAA comic book team. Shout out to Keensight. Like, these guys are amazing. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to Holmes. Shout out to Steven. These guys are fucking legends, dude. And look how dope this 3D asset looks. Like, oh my god. You think this is dope. The crazy thing is the physicals just look just like this. You're going to get these dope ass comics, and there's variants. There's going to be cool designs, and we're going to do something called Golden Ticket, where we're going to be hiding different stuff in the vault. So depending on those of you who claim the physical comic, you might buy a comic for like $20 plus shipping. And the hilarious part is you might wake up with like an asset worth like 0.2 ETH, 0.5 ETH, 1 ETH, right? We're going to be giving that all out from our community. There's going to be a handful of dimensional stones going out. Even though I know stones are slipping here, it's a 0.3 ETH asset on a $20 buy. It'll probably feel pretty cool for a lot of you who get it. We'll throw some Eves. We'll throw some Waltz Vaults. I have a ton of Frankie's dinner for you guys, but there'll also be some other cool stuff along the way. And this is where we'll make it really fun because this product experience is true to who we are. We just want to deliver delight at every level. And this is kind of why we kind of have this huge advantage because we have this Discord, we have this community, and you're all able to kind of move in this manner. So with this kind of essentially unlocks why Season 2 is happening. And all I can tell you is that Season 1 and Season 2 are the most important in this entire journey. Your collection of these two assets, even if you own one of them, but especially if you own both of them, you're going to have really meaningful upside. And we'll talk about that utility here as well. But with that, I hope you get a good framework of just what we've achieved in Season 1, right? And the question now begs probably to all of you guys is, what are we going to do in Season 2, right? And I think that's where it gets really exciting here in this design is that Season 2 has so much more. There's so much more claims and there's so much more design. So with that, guys, I'm going to pause here really quickly. I'm going to just leave this room open for now. I'm just going to go on mute. I'm going to close my screen right now and give me 5 to 10 minutes and I will set this up. We will get this going and get this running here. I'm just going to leave the stage for now. You could stay here if you want. But I will be back within 5 to 10 minutes and we will get going again and we will have an activated mint and we'll do that live with you guys here as well. It looks like Gwei's within our range. We're happy to move forward and we'll go live together to here as well. So I'm going to drop off the stage. You can stay here if you want. Give me 5 to 10 minutes and we'll get this going. Really appreciate it. And then after it's live, I'm going to walk you through all the utility as well. I'm going to share stuff that we haven't really even provided yet. And I'm going to show you how your souls are going to intertwine. This is going to be actually one of the coolest features in this design, which is going to be really exciting. So give me just a second and we'll do that. We'll launch the Season 2 Twitter thread after this. I want you guys to get it live from us, and then we'll put a Season 2 Soul Twitter thread out in about like a couple hours. We'll put it out later today because, again, I want it to go first to you guys. Once you guys get it, you then have the opportunity to invite other people who want to be a part of it as well. So I'm going to hop off stage. I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to leave this.